All right. Welcome. Good evening. We are here for the Temecula City Council meetings. Appreciate everybody's patience as we start just a little bit late. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Our invocation this evening is provided by Chaplain Rick Insalaco. Is that right? All right. Of Rancho Community Church, and flag salute, I would invite Marianne Edwards to lead us in that tonight. So please stand.
Yeah. I was waiting for the flag. Yeah. Loving Heavenly Father, we come to you in this hour asking for your blessing. Help us as we gather together. We pray for guidance in the matters at hand. Ask that you would clearly show us how to conduct our work with a spirit of joy and enthusiasm. Give us the desire to find ways to excel in our work. Help us to work together and encourage each other to excellence. We ask that you would challenge each other and to reach higher and further to the best as we can. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Will you please join me in our Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you so much. All right, can we have the roll call, please?
Yes, Councilmember Alexander.
Here.
Councilmember Edwards.
Here.
Mayor Ron.
Here.
Councilmember Schwank.
Here.
Councilmember Stewart.
Here.
All right, so this evening we have a number of very important presentations. The first one is a proclamation for National Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And I would invite our student organizations here. We have the Ohana Nani Nui Club. Come on up. We have the Ohana and Haka Club. Please join us at the podium here. We have the Asian Pacific Club. Come on down. And we also have the He Ohana Nani Club. I've been practicing. All right, so let me go ahead and read the proclamation, then my colleague here will provide you with those proclamations. Proclamation, City of Temecula, whereas this May, during National Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we recognize the history and achievement of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders across our nation. The month of May was chosen as Asian Pacific Heritage Month to commemorate the immigration of the first Japanese citizen, Nakahama Manjiro, to the United States on May 7th, 1843, but also the anniversary of the May 10, 1869 completion of the first transcontinental railroad, built with the labor of nearly 20,000 Chinese immigrants. And whereas communities make our nation more vibrant through a diversity of cultures and languages that enrich America's culture and strengthen the United States' role as a global leader, the Asian and Native American Pacific Islander communities are deeply rooted in the history of the United States, and the strength, contribution, and legacy of these communities have helped build and unite this country in each successive generation. We celebrate and honor the invaluable contribution these communities have made to our nation's culture, arts, law, science, technology, sports, and public service, including those who have served on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic as healthcare providers, first responders, teachers, and other essential workers. And whereas despite the strength shown and successful achievements, these communities have endured a long history of struggle in the inclusion, belonging, and acceptance, generating a need for more awareness. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Matt Ron, on behalf of the City Council of the City of Temecula, hereby proclaim the month of May 2022 to be National Asian American Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So thank you all for joining us, and I'm hoping you have some representatives who are willing to say a few words this evening. All right, who would like to go first? Just jump in there. All right. Good evening.
Good evening. I just want to say thank you for inviting us, for being able to celebrate this month and everything. So good evening, everyone. My name is Marcus Aguilas. I am one of the male captains from Chaparral's very own He Ohana Nani. Our team's purpose is to spread Polynesian culture through haka and Tahitian dancing, along with creating a community within our schooling team.
Thank you for having us speak. My name is Morella Barrett. I'm a junior at Chaparral High School and going to be captain for Hia Ohana Nani next year. Along with creating a community, we encourage students to join our club while not only learning about Polynesian culture, but also being inclusive to other cultures that can be brought to the team.
By performing at rallies, various performances, and hosting other events for our school,
We share our knowledge of the culture while keeping it alive and growing our family even greater on our campus.
so our club, E Ohana Nani, thanks you for giving us the opportunity to share our club during Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Heritage Month.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, honorable members of the City Council. We are the captains of Great Oaks Polynesian Team Ohana Nani Nui. I'm Sophia Keith Ong.
I'm Lorenzo Visitashun.
I'm Chloe Ibardaloza.
And I'm Emma Lim.
It truly is an honor to be given this chance and introduce you all to our beautiful family. Ohana Nani Nui means one big, beautiful family, and we aim to create a safe and close-knit community where students can thrive by freely expressing themselves and share their own personal backgrounds, all while learning about the culture of the islands.
As a team, we place heavy importance on the implementation of respect, making sure that we properly utilize and teach Polynesian techniques and ideals, guiding our members into the proper appreciation of not only their own, but other cultures and backgrounds as well.
That being said, we can proudly state that one of our greatest achievements as leaders of our Ohana would probably be witnessing our members proudly representing not only themselves with confidence, but showcasing their cultures and our team with pride as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
I apologize in advance. My voice has been not working with me today, but my name is Morgan Dixon, and I'm the female captain of Ohana Maoli at TVHS, and these are
My name is Jared Bolse. I'm the captain, also the senior of the TVHS Haka.
My name's Aaron Hahn, and I'm a co-captain for the Ohana at TVHS, or Ohaka.
I'd like to thank you for more than just the title of the month for the awareness, but more so for the opportunity, because it's recognition like that goes so far. This year was the first year that at my school, my team was ever recognized with other teams. On campus as a sport, and we're able to letter this year. And never have we ever been able to letter like other sports. And it's because of recognition like this that is only on paper, but it means so much more than that. Because it's recognition that brings growth, and it brings awareness, and it gives immense opportunities to people who don't get it a lot, and they don't get it like they deserve it. And I'm so proud of all of my girls who worked for that, and it means so much to me. And this kind of recognition means so much to me, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Matt, I have a comment.
It's truly inspiring when we get to come and be part of a meeting like this, and the future is standing right before us telling us thank you we're seen, we're heard, we're part of the community. You guys all give me so much pride in the balance of council as well. Thank you for taking the time, come down here and didn't quite realize it was going to be as emotional as it was, but I love that. I genuinely do. So thank you all for coming. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and take a quick picture too. You guys, if you want to all turn around and we can slide in and take a quick picture so we can send this all to your schools as well.
Go on the other side. There's room over here. Yeah. Balance it out.
Before you guys leave, there's one more thing that needs to be said, and I agree with you that recognition and publicity does help get the word out and makes people aware. But we wouldn't be able to give recognition if you had not worked so hard to put these clubs together. And so I'm so excited that this is your first year and you're able to letter now. That is amazing. And so look how far you've come. And congratulations, we really love y'all and we're very proud of you.
Okay, our next proclamation, so hopefully you all were able to watch the video and see the exhibits outside in the foyer. This one is regarding National Fentanyl Awareness Day, which is launched today, May 10th, to raise awareness about illicit fentanyl and fake pills and street drugs, primary driver of recent increases in drug-related deaths. Fentanyl is extremely addictive and is involved in more deaths of Americans under the age of 50 than any other cause of death, including heart disease, COVID-19, cancer, and all other accidents, according to the CDC. Whereas among teenagers, deaths linked to synthetic opioids such as fentanyl tripled in the past 2 years, yet 73% have never heard of fake prescription pills being made with fentanyl. And whereas fentanyl has 50 to 100 times the strength of morphine and is extremely potent, as little as 2 milligrams of fentanyl, an amount equal to 2 grains of sand, can actually kill a person. The Drug Enforcement Agency has observed a dramatic rise in the number of counterfeit pills containing at least 2 milligrams of fentanyl, which is considered a deadly dose. 4 out of 10 pills with fentanyl tested by the DEA contains a potentially lethal dose, and the number of law enforcement seized counterfeit pills with fentanyl has increased by nearly 502% since 2019. More than 9.5 million counterfeit pills were seized within the last year, which exceeds the total number of counterfeit pills seized for the previous 2 years combined. The practice of cutting drugs with fentanyl is relatively new, so public awareness is low, and educating the public about America's fentanyl crisis is the first step to reversing the tragic outcomes. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Matt Ron, on behalf of the City Council of the City of Temecula, hereby proclaim the 10th day of May, 2022, to be National Fentanyl Awareness Day. And I call upon our community to learn more about the dangers of illicit fentanyl use and promote prevention education. And our colleague, Ms. Alexander, will be presenting a proclamation this evening. And I believe, Matt, are you? There you are. All right. Please join us at the podium, and if you have a few words to share.
Yeah, I've got a few minutes of words, but I'll try to be quick. But I don't know that much more is important than what I have to say right now, given that fentanyl is the #1 killer of Americans aged 13 to 50. So I'll start by thank you for inviting me to speak tonight on National Fentanyl Awareness Day. I appreciate the opportunity to speak in the council chambers. Again, some of you I addressed about 2.5 years ago. It has been more than 2 years since I stood here during public comment, certain of what I wanted to talk about, but unsure if I'd be able to form the words to communicate effectively what was happening in our community. Just a few weeks prior to speaking here in February of 2020, I had a beautiful 20-year-old daughter home from college while on Christmas break. And in moments, in her bedroom with everyone she loved under the same roof, she was poisoned with a lethal dose of fentanyl. She died alone. She was gone, just like that, gone. As we tried to wrap our minds around what had happened to our beautiful Alex, I began to hear about other young people in our community who had also been poisoned and died. I found out at least 3 other young people aged 17 to 20 were poisoned in the same way Alexandra was within 2 weeks of each other. They took a pill they thought was pharmaceutical grade, but that wasn't what they were sold. They were sold a counterfeit pill made simply of a lethal dose of illegally manufactured fentanyl. I learned that the person who sold them the pills likely knew what they were selling to these young people in our community could kill them. They were right. I became outraged. On top of the insufferable amount of pain I was enduring, I was simply outraged. But I had to do something, so I came here to talk with you, warn you of what was happening to people, young people in our community. Drug dealers are knowingly poisoning people of all ages with counterfeit pills made of illicit fentanyl in an effort to fuel addiction while being fully aware that some of these people will die. Now, here we are 2.5 years later on the first ever National Fentanyl Awareness Day. It is a bittersweet moment for me. In some respects, we are glad that local, regional, state, and federal governments are recognizing the unfathomable destruction that is being caused by the import of these deadly counterfeit pills into our communities. On the other hand, every day we miss the smart, funny, and deeply empathetic young lady who grew up in Temecula and was attending Arizona State University on a full academic scholarship. As a father, there were so many things I imagined my daughter becoming. A memory wasn't one of them. But that is why our family has fought to educate, inform, and affect change in our legal system to begin to hold these drug dealers, or rather death dealers, the cartels and the manufacturers of this highly lethal man-made drug accountable. I have spoken all over the country to city councils, district attorneys, sheriffs, state assembly members, senators, congressmen, and even heads of state. Just 2 weeks ago, I was in Sacramento, along with dozens of other families struggling with the loss of a beloved family member, pleading with the state's Public Safety Committee to push through a bill named after our Alex for a vote at the Assembly and Senate, a bill that we know would save lives. That bill, inexplicably, did not make it out of committee for the second straight year. So we have more work to do, and that's why I'm here today. Here is what you need to know about illicit fentanyl. Just 2 milligrams, 2 milligrams, barely enough to cover the head of a pin, can flat out kill you and me in mere minutes. Fentanyl is roughly 100 times more potent than morphine and 50 times more potent than heroin. In fact, it is the most potent opioid pain reliever available for use in medical treatment. Now imagine illicitly made fentanyl in the hands of a common drug dealer. The cartels operating in Mexico have flooded our country with counterfeit prescription medications such as Xanax, Percocet, oxycodone, Adderall, and more. Other than filler, the only active ingredient in these pills is highly addictive and often deadly fentanyl. The DEA has reported that nearly half of the pills they seize contain fatal amounts of fentanyl. For instance, my daughter Alex was killed within moments of consuming half of one counterfeit pill that was sold to her under the disguise of oxycodone, a drug that she thought would help in her battle with depression and insomnia. No, her decision to purchase this from a street drug dealer was not wise. But don't be so quick to judge if you don't understand the struggles of depression and mental illness. On the other hand, a drug dealer chose to take advantage of someone's suffering for a profit of $20. And just like that, she was gone. Nearly 300 Americans are dying per day from illicit fentanyl, with 13 to 23-year-olds being the fastest growing age group of deaths. You know those every 15-minute programs that you attend in high school that address drunk driving put on by the CHP? Now cut that time in half. That's how fast illicit fentanyl is killing Americans, nearly every 7 minutes. Fentanyl-related deaths are now the #1 cause of death for ages 13 to 50 in this country. That applies to nearly everyone in this room. Multiple students from Great Oak, Chaparral, and Temecula Valley high schools have died due to fentanyl poisoning. In addition to all three of our public high schools, former students of Rancho Christian and Linfield Christian schools have lost their lives to this scourge. Nationally, more adults between 18 and 45 were killed with fentanyl in 2021 than by COVID-19, car accidents, cancer, and suicide. At this rate, I promise you that it's not a matter of if, but when this will affect your family, friend, neighbor, or loved one. But that's not all. Fentanyl is turning up in other recreational drugs bought on the street, such as cocaine, heroin, and even marijuana. In Riverside County alone, enough fentanyl has been seized by law enforcement to kill every man, woman, and child in America. However, they have only seized a fraction of what makes it through from Mexico. In 2021, the DEA seized 9.6 million counterfeit pills containing fentanyl, and that's estimated to only be about 10% of what they didn't seize. That means roughly 90 million counterfeit pills made it onto our streets in that year alone. There's enough fentanyl stockpiled in this country right now to cause a magnitude of death for decades to come. Please listen to me. This is an unprecedented disaster being inflicted upon our communities by drug cartels and drug dealers solely to lead people down the destructive road of addiction with complete disregard for the lives that will be lost, simply to fuel their greed. I've seen firsthand the inept and slow response by our state and federal leaders to this epidemic, which has led to deaths right here in our community. Unfortunately, we can't rely on them to do their job. Our community must come together right here, right now, with a comprehensive approach involving education, mental health services, drug treatment, and law enforcement. If you came into this room not knowing someone who has had their life ripped apart by fentanyl, you do now. I implore each and every one of you to join me in this fight by educating yourself, your classmates, your friends, your neighbors, your family members, and anyone you can talk to about this. Your life, their lives, our lives depend on it. Thank you.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for all that you've done for the community, the state, and mainly our children. We have so many children here just from the local high schools that getting this information out to them is so important, and it's going to be life-changing and life-saving. So I appreciate all your hard work. I appreciate the hard work of Chad Bianco and Mike Hestrin. You guys are absolutely a blessing to our community. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'll take one more moment of your time to let everybody here know we live in a state that makes it very difficult to charge drug dealers with murder. And we're fortunate. In our county right here, our sheriff and our district attorney have taken this problem very seriously. And, my daughter died back in 2019. Fentanyl was around, but it's still certainly not to the extent that it is now. And my daughter's case was marked non-criminal. There was no initial investigation. But I went to our sheriff and I went to our district attorney, and not only did they listen, but they took action. And today, in a state where it's very difficult to do so, and in our county, we have 15 murder charges pending against drug dealers. And one of those is for the person responsible for my daughter's death. And I thank our sheriff and our district attorney for that.
right. Of the other things that are going on this month, this is also National Bike Month. And this proclamation reads, National Bike Month celebrated to showcase many benefits of bicycling and encourage more folks to giving bicycling a try. It's an economical, healthy, convenient, and environmentally sound form of transportation and an excellent tool for recreation and enjoyment of Temecula's scenic beauty. Creating a bicycle-friendly community has been shown to improve health, well-being, quality of life, and growing the economy of Temecula, attracting tourism dollars, improving traffic safety, and reducing pollution and congestion. Hike Bike Temecula Valley, Old Town Bicycle Company, The Bike Shop, Inland Biking Alliance, Inland Valley Mountain Bike Association, League of American Bicyclists, and other local organizations and businesses will be promoting bicycling during the month of May 2022. These groups are also promoting bicycle tourism year-round to attract more visitors to enjoy local restaurants, hotels, retail establishments, and cultural and scenic attractions. They're promoting greater public awareness of bicycle operation and safety in an effort to reduce collisions, injuries, fatalities, and improve health and safety for everyone on the road. Therefore, Mayor Matt Ron, on behalf of the City Council, City of Temecula, hereby proclaim the month of May 2022 to be National Bike Month. Thank you, and I think we have representatives there from our bicycling organizations here to accept the proclamation this evening. Come on up. Good evening.
Hi. I'm Kennedy Yank, team captain of the TVHS mountain bike team and youth representative for the Bike Temecula Valley. BTV is a coalition of cyclists dedicated to the advocacy of safe, accessible, and fun cycling as an active means of recreation and transportation. Earlier this year, BTV cheered on the Vail Lake Challenge race, celebrated the opening of new pump track and local Long Canyon Creek Park, welcomed a new bike shop, Pedigo Electric Bikes, to the valley, collaborated with Visit Temecula Valley to promote safe rides linking tourist destinations, and partnered with Temecula Bike Train to clean up our trails and adopted a new trail, the City Adopt a Bike Park program. Over the last couple of years, we've seen exponential growth in cycling in our valley, and we want to thank the City of Temecula and our council members for supporting that growth with new trails and facilities. There's never been a better place for biking in Temecula, but there's even more to look forward to. Later this month, we'll be participating in Bike to Work Day, and we will plan to celebrate the opening of the city's 4th pump track at Wolf Creek Park, in addition to the highly anticipated Old Town Creek Walk. We're also excited to be able to ride the Santa Gertrudis Creek Trail extension later this summer. In the fall, we're looking closely with the Community of Mission for Hope to host the Cycling of Hope, a ride to support the hungry and single mothers. So on behalf of Bike Temecula Valley and our local youth mountain bike teams, I'd like to thank you for not only recognizing the Bike Month, but for fully embracing cycling in our community. Your support for cycling, active sports, and active transportation makes Temecula safer, healthier, and more accessible for livable and more fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now I'll hand it to my dad, and he'll talk about the youth cycling in Temecula.
Hey, guys. So I'm Chris Yank. I'm Kennedy's father. Also, I'm the team director for the Temecula Valley mountain bike team, one of the coaches over there. Wanted to take a moment to give you guys an update on the growth and success of our local youth cycling programs that are occurring right here in Temecula. Not a whole lot of people understand how robust our mountain biking program is here in Temecula. First of all, I wanted to thank all of the individual students and coaches who attended today to celebrate this proclamation and Bike Month with us. They're all out there in the crowd out there. Great Oak, Chaparral, and Temecula Valley students and coaches are all out there to celebrate this with us. This recreational sport has evolved at a very rapid pace in this town and is allowing our youth athletes to develop their social and athletic abilities while participating at both an individual and a team level. All of the teams have witnessed individual riders who have never competed in any sports at all develop into competitive and prominent athletes and have inherently increased their social skills and garnered lifelong friendships as a result. Most importantly, these kids all acquired a lifelong hobby, passion, and respect for cycling and the cycling community as a whole. Our teams all consist of non-paid volunteer coaching staff who all have a passion for riding and developing our youth into active and successful individuals. Temecula has 3 mountain bike teams that all participate at middle school and high school levels through NICA, which is an interscholastic mountain bike organization. In Southern California alone, there's more than 60 teams that participate in the SoCal NICA League. Temecula, Valley, Chaparral, and Great Oak all are the 3 schools that I'm referring to. Temecula Valley and Great Oak currently have the most robust mountain bike programs in the entire Southern California League, which stretches from Santa Barbara all the way to the border. Temecula Valley has 45 riders on it, 26 of which are in middle school alone, and 19 are in high school. Great Oak has 36 riders in their team as well. Chaparral High School, which has only been evolving over the last year and a half, already has 26 established riders on the team. So they're definitely up and coming. So this year alone, we've had a very successful season as a mountain bike group as Temecula Valley, and we've made a very good showing as a group. Temecula Valley was able to conclude the season on an undefeated basis, won the season overall against all high schools in Southern California. We're moving on to state championships this coming weekend. Great Oak finished second right behind us. So we had a very successful team representing Temecula as a whole. The BTV youth representative, Kennedy, that was just up here, had an extraordinary successful season competing in varsity as a sophomore. She maintained her position as the points leader throughout most of the season and ultimately finished second overall in the varsity category for the year. It's been an extraordinary compliment to her and influence in the sport and is a strong advocate to the female athletes in the sport. We're very proud of Kennedy's success thus far and really admire her influence with her peers, competitors, and the sport as a whole. We can't wait to see what the future has to hold for Kennedy in life and in the community. From a significant standpoint in the varsity class, our Temecula teams took 3 of the top 5 podium spots for the season, with Great Oak rider Raulito Gutierrez taking first place, followed by TVHS rider Aaron Peno in second, and another TVHS rider finishing 5th overall. On behalf of all of our teams, we sincerely thank the City of Temecula and BTV for your continued support and sincerity in continuing to raise awareness to cycling in our community and inherently making a positive impact on the quality of life here in the Temecula.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris and Kennedy, and Bike Temecula Valley for being here. We also have a couple of our new additions to our community businesses. So we have Pedigo Electric Bikes is here and Old Town Bicycle Company. I'd certainly like to give you an opportunity if you want to come up and talk about, bikes mean business here in the city and what that means for you and your companies and your employees.
My name is Tucker Creamer, and my wife Mallory and I just opened Pedigo Temecula, Pedigo Electric Bikes in Temecula. We've been open just over 2 months, and we've already introduced 60 brand new bikes to the community, and got cars off the road, and that I think is all of our intention to try and eliminate some of the traffic. Our owners aren't out winning any races like our young high school athletes, but nonetheless they're just as passionate about cycling. And we just want to thank the City of Temecula. They've made it so easy for us to open this business. And we're just so grateful and honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is John Litchfield, owner-operator at Old Town Bicycle Company, just down the street in our wonderful South Creek Mall. I don't really have much to say, but the support that you guys have given us to open a business has been awesome. The support from all the high school leagues, incredible. And we're working on getting cars off the streets where picking up new brands, but we mainly started as a repair shop, and we've supported all of the schools, and we're hoping to collect more students and riders and keeping them out on the trail. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And I'll just take a little point of privilege. Matt Peters is seated over here in the front, and he's sort of the head of Hike Bike Temecula for the city. And the Bike to Work Day, which sort of sparked all this, maybe 10 years ago or something like that, was just an idea like, hey, let's a few folks ride our bikes to work. And we did that, and it's sort of grown. Not that this didn't exist before that, but we've acknowledged it, and we've sort of pulled everyone out into the community. So certainly want to thank Matt and all the hard work that he does for the city, and obviously for the council and city staff and everyone that sort of pours their heart into an active transportation, active lifestyle, and getting folks on bikes. We have commissioners that now have electric bikes, and I see all sorts of new people riding over Santiago, coming into Old Town to come to meetings like this and to enjoy everything our town has to offer. So on behalf of Mayor Ron and the balance of the council, here's a proclamation for you, and thank you for coming this evening. So if everyone that's involved wants to come up, we can filter around behind, and so now's your shot. Come on, Randy.
In the back. High schoolers down there. No? Yeah.
You guys are short enough.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, everyone.
Can I go now?
I'd like to share a story with you. I remember a time in long ago Temecula when we moved here in 1988, and people said, I remember people distinctly saying, I would never ride a bike here because traffic moves too fast, too dangerous. And since that time, the state has named us the safest place to bike, walk, or jog, I guess. And the addition of hundreds of miles of trail and bike paths in Temecula, and with people like you leading the way, it's just been phenomenal. So keep out there, keep pedaling, and thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, and now in the exciting rollout of things going on, this week is actually National Public Works Week. Yes. Now, I mean, we in the city of Temecula know that every week is Public Works Week here because they do such an amazing job. But from the national perspective, public work professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities, public health, high quality of life, and well-being. These infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public work professionals, engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. It is in the public's interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Temecula to gain knowledge and to maintain progressive interest in understanding the importance of public works and these programs in their communities. The quality and effectiveness of these services, as well as planning, design, construction, is vitally dependent upon the efforts and skills of the public works personnel. The year 2022 marks the 62nd annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association and the Canadian Public Works Association. I, therefore, Mayor Matt Ron, on behalf of the City Council of the City of Temecula, hereby proclaim the week of May 15 to 21, to be National Public Works Week Ready and Resilient.
Thank you, Mayor Ron. And I can now see that we need to start Public Works team at the schools here because we're kind of outnumbered tonight.
Right.
But I would like to thank the council for your commitment to the quality of the infrastructure in the city. And that is definitely a critical part of the quality of life in the city, and Public Works employees all partake in that maintaining of the infrastructure in the city. And the theme, as the mayor mentioned, the theme this year is ready and resilient. And I would definitely, after the last couple of years, describe our workforce as ready and resilient. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. And our last item on presentations this evening is a certificate of recognition presented on behalf of City Council and the citizens of the City of Temecula to the Salvation Army. The City of Temecula would like to recognize the Salvation Army in celebration of their 25 years of service to Southwest Riverside County. They are an international charitable organization whose mission emphasizes helping poor people and people in need. In addition to creating more job opportunities in the community of Temecula, Salvation Army fights poverty and hunger. The Army also assesses the needs of local community and provides access to food pantries, homeless shelters, and other services. We congratulate the Salvation Army on celebrating their 25 years of service in the Temecula Valley, and we thank all of them for their accomplishments and contributions to our community. And I believe that we have Major Jessica Carr here this evening to join us at the podium. Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you, esteemed mayor and wonderful council members and staff. Thank you for your service, your leadership, and your governance over this wonderful community. I'm honored to be, my husband and I are honored to be the leaders of the Salvation Army in Southwest Riverside County. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here, but I just want to say that it is 157 years that the Salvation Army's been around. But here locally, we've been able to provide services for the last 25. Some of you I know have participated in our Child Spree program, where we take 250 kids shopping and they get brand new school clothes at JCPenney's. And so thank you for coming alongside and volunteering with us. Some of you may have rung bells. Some of you may have participated in all other activities. I just want you to know that we are continuing to grow our services and helping to prevent homelessness, helping people end their homelessness with financial assistance and case management support. Of course, we have our food pantry. We have our summer program. Right now, we're signing up kids to go spend a week in Big Bear. So that's really fun because parents are free. So thank you for your support. We're glad we're here for the last 25, and we will continue to march forward and help to make our community a better place. Thank you so much for this recognition.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for being just such a wonderful community partner for the City of Temecula, and here's to another 25 years.
Woohoo! Thank you. And Jim, this is Jim. He's on our the chair of our advisory board, Jim Yanushek. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to board and commission reports. I am going to start this evening with Mr. Richardson, Traffic and Safety Commission. Good evening.
Good evening. How you doing?
Good. I changed it up. See, you're first.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep everybody on their toes.
It is. All right. I am here today to report on our meeting from April 28th. You know the commission, same crew, and we review and make recommendations on topics related to speed zones, stop signs, everything traffic. So our business items, we did review the proposed capital improvement plan for 2023 to 2027, presented by Ameritar, and we recommended that the commission review and discuss, so which we did. Amar, as usual, was very patient with us as we asked many questions, and that was a receive and file with no action taken. The business item we had was Mercedes Street pedestrian crosswalk, so we reviewed the recommendation of staff for the pedestrian crosswalks just out in front here. And basically it's a mild striping project to just make the crosswalks a little more visible, nothing too drastic there. So you should see that happening soon. Another, receive and file, no action. And our primary thing we discussed was this Priest Lane and Tierra Vista Road traffic calming analysis. This is for the northbound traffic on Inez Road during rush hour in the evening. This is actually a left-hand cut through where they'll turn left into the houses on the west side of Inez Street, weave through, and then come back out onto Inez further up to bypass traffic. So staff here recommended to implement striped traffic calming measures on Priest Lane, and also to put in a always stop control at the intersection of Priest Lane and Tierra Vista Road, Buckeye Road there, to try to discourage traffic from making that left-hand cut through there. So this was on your consent this evening, and we voted 5-0 to approve that staff recommendation. Again, good work by staff on that one. Let's see. The Old Town Utility Box Public Art Project, we did appoint Commissioners Brad Sullivan to serve on that committee, and there is a slight safety component there. You don't want to paint them so cleverly they disappear completely, so we still want them to be visible. So Brad is going to be doing that for the Public Traffic Safety Commission.
Wonderful.
Yep. I think that's it for us.
All right, thank you for the report. Mr. Watts, Planning Commission.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, staff, and public. Planning Commission is shown on the picture there. The 5 members of the Planning Commission. We serve as the designated statutory planning agency for the city of Temecula. Never mind. The Planning Commission approved 3 development plan applications for 3 industrial buildings in the northwest side of town near Winchester. And those buildings were approximately 40,000 square feet, 20,000 square feet, and 10,000 square feet. The good news is they're already rented out, I think, leased out. So the demand for these types of buildings continues to just be phenomenal. And we're just very pleased to see them go up and be occupied as soon as they are. So that's good. We approved that with 3-0 vote, and there were no speakers on that. Next item, please. We received a report detailing proposed amendments to the municipal code, and we passed the resolution recommending the city council repeal and replace Title VI of the Temecula Municipal Code. And primarily this relates strictly to animals, pets, that type of thing, and it codifies what we operate with the Friends of the Valley, which deal with all of the animal problems in the town. So that was adopted 3-0 and forwarded to you folks for your action. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you so much. All right, Public Safety Report, Captain Hall, good evening.
So the calls for service, here's the year-to-date. Better? Year-to-date, 2022, 25,907, a little lower than 2021, but a little higher in the month of April. 2022 is 6843 to 6755 in 2021. The only story I wanted to share with you this evening was I've talked a lot about Flock and how it's helped us with criminal apprehensions, but we had a very interesting Flock usage on a case in mid-April. And in this case, a 4-year-old went missing and just so happened to have the keys to his dad's car on him. Well, he was located by a female that was unknown to him, and this female decided that it was a good idea. I think the 4-year-old said to her, "We should go for a ride," or something to that degree, handed over the dad's Jaguar car keys, and she thought this was a good idea. And so she took this 4-year-old for a ride. Several hours later, when Dad realized that the 4-year-old was missing, he called us and we initiated our investigation. The vehicle was immediately entered into Flock, and we initiated what we call a Code Alex, which is a priority response to certain areas within the city and county area where other jurisdictions help join in on that, so we can get in certain positions where we think these cars may go. Flock immediately returned with a breadcrumbs of where this car was heading towards Anza, Nawanga, where she had stopped with the child to commit a burglary before continuing on her way, and a deputy at his Code Alex position, following the breadcrumbs of Flock, picked up the Jaguar, and a very long but slow speed vehicle pursuit occurred, where we were able to rescue the child and apprehend her for kidnapping him. So very interesting use of that technology that resulted in a very positive outcome for us.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.
Sir, so if you don't have any other questions, council has any questions, that's all I have for tonight.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, public comments. Do we have any public comments this evening?
We do, Mr. Mayor. We have 8 public comments today, 5 in person and 3 via email. The rules are outlined in the agenda, and I'll go ahead and call up the first speaker, Denise Lanier, to be followed by Magda Stewart. Denise?
Good evening.
No, lift the arm up. Oh, lift that up. Yeah. There.
There you go.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, council members, commissioners, and city staff. I'm Denise Lanier, and I'm the president of Assistance League of Temecula Valley. We have been in the valley for over 33 years, serving the families in all of those communities. Thank you. And I just wanted to extend an invitation to join us at the Lake Elsinore Storm on June 22nd for a fundraising event for the Assistance League. Every ticket that is sold for that event, we will receive a percentage of that will go towards the Assistance League of Temecula Valley. You can purchase those online using the code ALTV. So we would appreciate your support. I know the city has always supported the Assistance League, and we're so appreciative. Come out and have a fun-filled evening watching baseball with your families. And I also have given council the flyer and my business card, because I'd like to invite each and every one of you to get a personal tour of our 18,000 square foot thrift shop right here in Temecula. If you would like to do that, I would be more than happy to show you around along with your significant other. If you have not been in our thrift shop, that's our main fundraiser for the Assistance League. And I also would like to pass along, there is a challenge from the city of Menifee. They did purchase 20 tickets already for that game, and they are challenging you to do the same, if not more. And I know, having participated in Reality Rally this weekend, that there's a competition going on between the cities. So I just thought I'd pass that along from Bill Zimmerman.
Oh, all right. Well, challenge accepted, Bill.
So thank you very much for your attention and your support. We, the Assistance League, truly appreciates everything you do for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The next speaker is Magda Stewart, to be followed by Tucker Creamer.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and staff. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Magda Stewart, and I'm the CEO for the Trauma Intervention Program of Southwest Riverside County, but I'm happy to say that as of last year, we are now to be known as TIP of Riverside County, because our goal is to expand countywide. I am here tonight first to say thank you so much. By the way, this is Alyssa Madison. She's our latest hire, and she's our programs development manager. So first, I wanted to say thank you so much for your continued support throughout all these years. TIP is going on their 30th year next year, and we started with Temecula, so we really appreciate your partnership and support. I do want to give you an update as to what TIP has been doing for the last 2 years, pandemic years. we thought that the pandemic would really affect our call volume and things like that, but in reality, it did not. When we first got the stay-at-home orders, we went on to what we call Teletip, which was just phone support, until we came up with a plan as a national organization on how to keep our volunteers on scene safe. And 8 weeks later, we went back out into service. It didn't affect our call volume, but it did affect our volunteer base because we went back into service with 40% volunteer loss. But in 2019, pre-pandemic, we had a total of 597 calls for the year. 2020, we had 529, so that's not a big loss. And back in 2021, we were up to 591. We have used those years also to try to establish new partnerships for our growth. So I am happy to say that we partnered up with the Suicide Prevention Coalition. We're part of their postvention team, and the goal is to have the Riverside County Coroner's Sheriff's Department let us know when a suicide has happened countywide so we can provide what we call delayed support, but within 24 to 48 hours. We know that those that suffer a loss due to suicide are more at risk of becoming suicide victims themselves. So we're committed to trying to prevent that. And the other partnership that we've established is with Safe Family Justice Center. As you know, they are 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and TIP is the 24/7, 365. So our goal is to provide support to DV victims after hours and during the weekend and be able to do a warm handoff to SAFE the next business day. So that is a little bit of an update for you all. And I do want to let everybody know that we do have a volunteer training class that starts in June. They can go to our website if they're interested in volunteering. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Tucker Creamer, to be followed by Slim Killens. Tucker's gone. Okay, Slim. To be followed by Dario Bianchi.
Evening.
Good evening, Mayor and council members, staff. I believe we're living in one of the greatest times in American history because a red tsunami is sweeping across this nation. Christians and conservatives like myself are standing with one unified and resolute voice. We are tired, and we have been powerfully awakened to the clarion call of duty, and we will not stop until we've been rightfully vindicated. We will no longer allow ourselves to be bound by the heavy chains of tolerance, or lulled to sleep by the melodic symphonies of self-delusion. And we refuse to continue to walk quietly down the corridors of judicial, political, and mainstream media tyranny and allow the moral foundations of this great nation to be abducted and unjustly incarcerated behind the prison walls of hedonism and racial bigotry, which is a caricature of freedom and equality. Therefore, we are determined and will continue to march in the cadence of compassionate truth, as stated in the Word of God, until justice roll down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. If we fail to stop you now in this audacious mission, constitutional rights will be obliterated and individual freedoms destroyed. Events such as defunding the police and Kyle Rittenhouse, supposedly white supremacists, or Black Lives Matters and Jussie Smollett, supposedly social justice warriors, proves there is no viable systemic racism in America. We teach children it's wrong to lie, while men and women in the highest echelon of power with impunity steal elections and lie every day to further their socialist agenda. Even now, many of you are attempting to indoctrinate the young minds of our children with the toxic desserts of racial bigotry and sexual confusion. Your actions are causing considerable collateral and irreparable damage to children. We are ordering you to cease and desist and return the God-given rights to children back to their parents. I can only affirm the words of the old Negro spiritual that resonates so loud and clear within my ears. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Yes, we shall overcome someday. This is our destiny. This is our goal, and like a tree planted by rivers of living water, we shall not be moved. If I'm wrong, God Almighty is wrong. If I'm wrong, the Constitution is wrong. And if I'm wrong, tens of millions of conservative Christians are wrong. But I'm not wrong. No, I'm not wrong. Why? Because the majestic walls of morality sit firm on a solid foundation of absolute truth, and it can never be abolished by the torrid winds of cancel culture, racial bigotry, and sexual immorality. And I say, glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah. His truth continues to march on.
The next speaker is Dario Bianchi, and then we'll get into the 3 email comments.
Evening.
Mayor, City Council. Okay, I'm reading. This is 8 things you can do to help stop voter fraud. This is from Judicial Watch, which I believe everybody knows. Contrary to claims of some election officials in some states, fraud, incompetence, intimidation, and inaccurate voter registration records do exist. And the consequences are alarming. In fact, according to an Obama-era study by the nonpartisan Pew Center on the State Research Organization, more than 24 million voter registration records in the United States, about 1 in 8, were inaccurate. Out-of-date duplicates. Some 2.8 million people were registered in 2 or more states. As many as 1.8 million registered voters were dead. Where are we living here? In the moon? Ballot harvesting is another bad idea. In a state is legal, like California. California, not the United States, California. It enabled third parties to collect ballots from voters, usually at home or in facilities. North Carolina, basically it is illegal to do that. Arizona decided to outlaw those dubious practices. Texas is setting a set of law already to protect their integrity. So I think that is a time that the state of California, here we are talking about our county, is taking off all the machine, all of them, from internet, period. Because if not, it doesn't matter what is going to happen next. It's not going to be next. The United States will do like this. Because if there is not voter integrity, there is not democracy, and there is no United States. Thank you.
We have 3 email comments that were sent in. The first one is from Gia Rodo, and it's lengthy, so I'll start the clock. In light of Temecula City Council member Jessica Alexander's recent antics of discriminating against and vilifying the Drag Bunch experience coordinators by weaponizing her religion and her complete failure to comprehend the importance of the separation of church and state, are Temecula citizens to expect more attacks on businesses and individuals that don't follow the corrupted application of the Christian Bible? If so, how will you differentiate between which biblical sins can be ignored and which should be punished? Should the punishments be traditional, stoning, whipping, death, chopping off hands, and who will be responsible for deciding? I have so many questions for this august body. For instance, will Temecula require a woman to obey her father by marrying a stranger or her cousin who purchased her for silver goats and camels? More importantly, to our city government, will Temecula be conducting tests to determine if the female of each partnership is a virgin before marriage, so she may be stoned to death if she isn't? Deuteronomy 22:20-21. Will medical insurance companies be required to cover the cost of the virginity examinations? Will the bride price be taxed? Will Temecula inspect the orchards to see if they harvest their crops thoroughly to each edge boundary instead of leaving the fruit on the perimeter for the poor, Leviticus 23:22. Will we have a system in place for residents to tattle on their neighbors for growing different crops side by side in the same garden, Leviticus 19:19? Will the execution of those sinning neighbors be public? Will an inventory be completed to determine if Temeculans have more than one tunic, so additional tunics can be taken and redistributed to those without tunics? Luke 3:11, how many stores do you anticipate will pass the mixed fabric test of the Bible, since it is sinful to wear garments made of mixed fabrics, Leviticus 19:19? Will the Temecula Hospital be required to isolate every woman for 66 days who gives birth to a female child, making her unclean? Will that isolation be covered under one's medical insurance, Leviticus 12:5? How will home births be monitored to determine if isolation is required? Will all stores and restaurants be shut down that serve or sell bacon, ham, pork chops, Spam, or animals from the sea without fins or scales? Shrimp, crab, lobster, squid, clams, oysters. Leviticus 11:7-10. Should customers be whipped or stoned for consuming those products? What will the punishment be for a tattoo shop owner? Will the tattoo artists as well as the patrons be punished? Leviticus 19:28. Will we be stoning K through 12 athletes for touching a pigskin ball, making them unclean? Leviticus 11:7-8. Since 73% of teachers in California are women, should we be concerned about the future of our public schools under Christianity without female teachers in charge of male students? Wouldn't the no woman in charge of men rule apply to the city council too? Whoops, wait a minute, that escalated fast. Timothy 2:11. Should
That's,
people who work
that's
on
3
the
minutes.
Sabbath? And then the next one is Leah Dulty. I'm writing in for this evening's meeting to voice my concerns regarding the Planning Department-approved Harveston adjacent New Prado housing development for 237 new homes. The Prado development is not slated for affordable living. Mind you, when I say affordable, I am speaking of the demographic that this council and city is completely missing. Workforce humans like myself, chefs, grocery workers, nurses, police humans, bartenders, and general managers of restaurants, all of which are priced out of living affordably in our valley. This development could have easily added 10 to 20% affordable housing for medium earners, yet at almost every turn, we are leaving this demographic out. I am present to the fact that we are over 80% built out in Temecula, with a mere 3% being slated for affordable housing. So let me ask you, with all the work I do to attract new companies and tourists alike to our valley, how do you foresee any new, small, unique, even Michelin star-based projects affording to develop a progressive concept that makes our valley shine, let alone house the necessary median income talent that is required to forge this path? Or do we allow our unique, beautiful, homegrown community to emulate corporate America only? I'm asking you to get these builders back to the table to further the conversation and consider the possibilities of how we can each affect change by simply providing a basic human right, affordable housing, a home to raise our family, and living a good life. Thank you for your time and consideration. I sincerely hope to see this issue on the table until resolved. And the last speaker is Laurel Lamont. The Prado development was approved at the April 20th, 2022 Planning Commission with a 3-0 vote. Because the Harveston specific plan was amended in 2020, this project was not brought to council for a vote or public comment. According to the information presented during the meeting, Prado is a 237-unit single-family build-to-rent luxury project with floor plans to range between 1,400 and 1,800 square feet. If a 650 square feet, one-bedroom apartment in Temecula starts at roughly $2,100 a month, what will the average Prado rental go for? HB, the developer and owner, describes its home to have master suites with luxurious showers, walk-in closets, and spacious landscape yards, and a community replete with a dog park, fitness center, and luxury pool. It's difficult to imagine any Temecula household who makes under 6 figures will be able to live there, which is nearly the entire working class. Luxury rentals strictly benefit private investors and a very small percentage of the population who is privileged enough to opt out of the stress of mortgages, taxes, and HOAs. The apparent value of rental communities, according to AHV. At first glance, Prado appears to offer nothing for Temecula's local workforce. Moreover, it's an earth-to-moon distance from the concept of attainable homeownership. Please tell me I've missed something. Please explain how Prado is the right project for Temecula and how it will in some manner benefit the city's non-affluent constituency. Please tell me why Temecula insists on placing the affordable overlay zones away from the pre-planned communities that are designed to be walkable to schools, parks, and grocery stores. The current affordable overlay zone is segregated. Affordable housing subsidies used to place apartments over bars and nightclubs, Habitat homes shoved in the corner, as if low-income workers aren't worthy of your neighborhoods. That's the last of the public comments.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, city council reports. Who would like to go first? Ms. Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It was a big weekend in Temecula. It was the annual reality rally. Jillian Larson works very hard with her volunteers every year, and they have celebrities from the, well, Survivor shows, I guess, come to town, and they fly here, they stay here at their own expense, and they have to raise money in order to participate in the race. So it's a lot of fun. It takes place in Old Town, and it's not a running race. It's kind of almost like a scavenger hunt, if you will, with fully, fully engaging four-person teams. So the proceeds of Reality Rally go to Michelle's Place. And Michelle's Place is a center that provides cancer support. And Michelle's Place used to work with breast cancer patients only, but after the city of Temecula had a cancer task force, they realized that there was a real need, and they expanded Michelle's Place to include all types of cancer. And I would say, unfortunately, they've been busy, but thank God that they're there to help those people who need support before, during, after cancer, and their family members. So I want to thank Jillian publicly for, once again, putting on the Reality Rally. She is a ball of energy, as are the volunteers that work with her. And I will say that Mayor Ron and I and Councilmember Schwank, or Mayor Pro Tem Schwank, were at the Reality Rally, kind of kicking it off this weekend. And it's another one that's really become a signature event in Temecula. So watch for it next year. It's always around the same time of year, and Michelle's Place will get tens of thousands, if not more, dollars from that. So thank you, Jillian and volunteers. Oh, and by the way, Lake Elsinore did not win this year. They've won 8 years in a row, and they didn't win this year. This year it was it Menifee? Menifee. So congratulations, Menifee. And Neener, Lake Elsinore.
All right, who's up next? Ms. Alexander.
All right. Well, this has been an exciting, actually, 2 weeks for me and the community. And I just want to say thank you to all of the organizations and the different churches that has opened up their homes to us to be able to just see what they do. So this is kind of some of the things that I was able to participate in. First off was the Holocaust Memorial Day March of Remembrance. So I just want to thank Marietta and all the leaders that showed up to that. Matt, Ron, and myself actually ended up going, and he ended up speaking. He's going to speak to that a little bit further. Then we also ended up having, went with Matt Ron again. We had another great day over at the, for the Crystal Apple Awards over at the Mormon Church. It was absolutely beautiful. We had a really incredible time to see how the teachers were awarded for their thanks and all they do for their students. So we were able to do that. I was able to go on a wonderful ride with the HOT team to go into the encampments. That was another thing. And I'd like to just let everybody know that there's going to be a project that's already in place, that they're moving forward to be able to put wrought iron over there in some of the areas where they're having a lot of issues and a lot of the garbage where some of these people are staying. So we're hoping that the chain link fences aren't getting broken. So it just creates more of a secure area for them and our residents as well. Went to the SCAG conference with I can't talk today, with Zach Schwank. That was actually really eye-opening as well. It just gave me some insight to see where the state is going with housing and also with clean energy. Rally, I am asking everybody next year to jump on that rally. So we had an incredible time. I was actually able to be with 3 of our commissioners, and we had actually a really good time. We got to draw on each other's faces. We got to run races, shoot things, and just really support each other and had a wonderful time. So if you haven't done it, I encourage you to do it, and I'm encouraging us to jump in as a team next year because it was a lot of fun. So, and the last thing I was able to do today was to connect with, for the first time, our Interfaith Council. We were able to go with the HOT team today. One of my biggest areas that I wanted to do was just reach out to them and see how we as a city can support the churches and the community and what they're needing, and also how possibly that they can even support some of our organizations such as the HOT team. So it was a really good meeting today, and I'm hoping to be able to have more connections with them in the future. So thank you to all of those organizations, and thank you to our staff as well.
All right, Mr. Schwank.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mayor Ron. I just have a quick slide. So next Thursday, May 19th, is our City Bike to Work Day. This is, gosh, I want to say it's the 10th. I think it's the 10th year in a row that we've done this. And I was talking with Supervisor Washington a while back, and was mentioning one of the first rides we ever did. He and I rode in together, and we were chatting about the potential for the Santa Gratuitous Interconnect grant, and we were really thought we were going to get it, and we ended up not getting it that year. But we applied again and sharpened everything and ended up getting it. So it was kind of just reminiscing with Chuck about the humble beginnings of some of the things that we've done in the city, and then the infrastructure that comes along with some of these things. So I encourage everyone to come out. This is for city employees, but it's actually for the balance of the community. In past years, many people have just ridden through Old Town. We typically have coffee. Every year I usually make coffee. I'm a coffee connoisseur, so I usually make coffee. This year I'll be making breakfast burritos. And Greg Butler, if you're listening, I know you love breakfast burritos, so head on up and ride with us. I'd be happy to make one. So anyone that comes, no matter where you're from, I will happily make you a breakfast burrito on the steps of City Hall on Thursday, May 19th. So.
Do you do home visits?
I don't. You have to come with your bike. Yeah, I got to leverage this somehow. So no, it's a fun day, and it's really just a fun community day. And so I always try to do things that just add a little bit. Nothing wrong with a good breakfast burrito. So. And then just really quickly, and I know Director Joel took one for the team since we had 5 presentations this meeting. But the first week in May is is Professional Municipal Clerks Week. And I don't want this meeting to go by without acknowledging the work that Director Joel, that you and your team do for the community. Your department touches council, obviously, city manager, and the balance of the city and the residents through elections. And we're having an election coming up, and I think our municipal clerks are the guardians of democracy. They're kind of like the guardians of the galaxy, only a little cooler. So I just didn't want that to pass. I know we'll acknowledge your department, but please, yeah. Please just thank the balance of your team for all the hard work that you do. Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I just have a few things. One is I have a slide for youth engage. Oh, no. All right, we'll do this one then. Coffee with the Mayor. Join me May 21st at Richie's Diner on Temecula Parkway. I'll be getting there at 7:30. Really? Okay. So
There is a
apparently I'm
7:30
getting
in the
there
morning,
at 7:30 on a Saturday. In keeping with our Temecula Safe topic, we will be talking a little bit about emergency preparedness in the city of Temecula. Just absolutely love having these events. It's a great way to connect with the community and have a wonderful cup of coffee and a great conversation. So really encourage folks to join me there. The next one is on youth engagement, and most of our youth have left. However, for those folks watching at home, grab your kids, scan the QR code, and join us at the City of Temecula. We want youth and young adults to provide your feedback on a vision and plan for Temecula's future and our quality of life master plan. Takes just a few minutes to do the survey. Your input is incredibly valuable. Pass this along, take a screenshot, send it to your friends, send it to everybody you know. and who falls into that youth and young adult category. And we really do hope to get a good turnout for that survey so we can help address all of your interests and concerns with our Quality of Life Master Plan. Two other quick things, as our colleague Ms. Alexander mentioned, we did attend the March of Remembrance in the city of Murrieta. This has become an annual event since 2014. It's part of a nationwide and international event that is a march in remembrance of the Holocaust and Holocaust Memorial Day that's held on May 1st. This year we were able to meet and listen to Amit Mikkel, the department chief for the Israeli Consulate General. Very stirring speech, remarkable morning, able to connect with the community and share an important time for reflection. And then lastly, I'll say that I was invited out and had a wonderful morning with our folks at the mosque here in Temecula and the end of Ramadan and celebration of Eid al-Fitr. And it was a beautiful morning with a lot of great folks and families out there. So really appreciate the invitation and being able to join you all. All right, moving on, we are moving to the consent calendar. Item number 1 on the consent calendar is waive reading of standard ordinances and resolutions. Item number 2, approve action minutes of April 26, 2022. 3, approve the list of demands. 4, adopt ordinance 2022-08, amending section 10.28.010D of the Temecula Municipal Code regarding prima facie speed limits on certain streets. This is the second reading. Item number 5, approve increase to the contingency for the fiber optic communication system upgrade PW 18-05. That has to do with signal timing. Item number 6, approve specifications and authorize solicitation of construction bids for citywide slurry seal program fiscal year 2021 through 2022, PW 22-02. And lastly, item number 7, receive and file temporary street closures for the 2022 Summerfest events.
Move approval.
Second. And I would like to pull item number 6 just for a quick report because it's so exciting to see this kind of investment in our beautiful infrastructure and in continuing our celebration of Public Works Week. Pat.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And yes, as you mentioned, the item number 6 on the agenda is to approve the specifications and solicit bids for our citywide slurry seal program. This is the residential slurry seal project that we do each year. We use the slurry seal as a preventative maintenance on the residential streets. Oops. Sorry about that. So the streets that are in the program this year are the streets in the Paloma del Sol neighborhood, which you can see on the screen here in front of you, and the Paseo del Sol neighborhood next to Paloma, and the Rancho Vista Estates neighborhood. And the total of square footage of those 3 neighborhoods is about 8.3 million square feet that will be slurry sealing this year. And that totals about 40 linear miles of streets. We try to do the residential streets each 10 years, every 10 years, redo that slurry seal, and we're on that schedule. And the cost estimate for this particular slurry seal project is $2.3 million. And this is part of our annual investment in our streets in the city. We spend usually between $8 and $10 million on slurry seal and pavement overlay and other pavement maintenance projects in the city. So this is just part of our overall pavement management program and investment in the condition of the streets in Temecula. So that concludes my report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Nope, I just appreciate that, and I love highlighting all the hard work you do and the fact that we're doing, 40 miles of additional
40 miles
streets this year. It's exciting, and those neighborhoods, be patient, but at the end, you're going to love the new streets in your communities. All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Yeah.
We do, and the vote screen is up.
All right, please cast your votes. And that passes 5-0. We're going to go ahead and recess to community services.
And I will call to order the Temecula Community Services District meeting. Please note we're all still here, Madam Secretary. Do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Okay. So we'll move on to consent calendar. Item number 8, approve action minutes of April 26, 2020. And number 9, approve non-exclusive service agreement with First Student Charter for Transportation Services, which is basically buses for the
Summer day camp.
Summer day camp, yeah.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please vote. All right, that passes 5-0. Director's report, I'm going to start because after our last meeting, that weekend was Rod Run. And for anybody who went to it, it was spectacular.
Perfect.
And we do have a slide. I was the kind of like the unofficial, official head of the cruise night. And if you look right at the picture, Daryl Farnbach, who is one of longtime resident, very important to the community, and actually some of the things that he's done for the community has gone kind of not really noticed, but that Vail Ranch headquarters is there because of this guy and his wife and people who came around them. But when I heard he's actually dying, but when I heard he was going to be at the Rod Run, I texted Rebecca and said, "You got to cruise with me then. If you're going to be there, you got to cruise." So Daryl honored me with allowing me to cruise with him at cruise night. And that is actually the 59 Chevy that won Best in Show. So yeah, it was pretty stinking incredible. I mean, yeah, it was pretty doggone amazing. So anyways, that was an amazing Rod Run. Looking forward to the next one already a year from now. So any other director's report? Nope.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed, Mr.
that
President.
director,
If we
yes.
can pull up that slide. Okay, so 2 items tonight. In commemoration of World Day for Cultural Diversity, the City of Temecula will host the first Temecula Culture Fest on Saturday, May 21st from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Really important to note, and we're excited to note, that there's actually 2 locations here in Old Town. It's going to be in Town Square Park, right out here in front of City Hall, but also at Sam Hicks Monument Park. So you'll be able to walk, families will be able to walk from Sam Hicks Monument Park up here to Town Square Park. The fire station will be participating as well. The police storefront as well will have something out there. So it's just going to be a really great time all day long, full of entertainment, food, vendors, intercultural experiences. It's just a great opportunity for people to come out, get to know each other, have conversations, and just enjoy being out and about. Next slide, please. I'd also like to point out that the Summer Fall 22 Guide to Leisure Activities is now available online. We're still waiting for those hard copies to show up in the mail. There was a paper shortage at the printer, so the mailed copies will be a little bit behind. But registration opens Monday, May 16th at 8 a.m. And for some of those programs, as many of you know, you want to get on right at 8 a.m. because those programs will fill up. We're very excited to return to a full slate of programming. We're offering just a wide variety, hundreds literally of camps programs. It has all of our activities, all of our events for the summer-fall season. So super excited to see this coming back out, and hopefully everybody will get their copies and line up to register online Monday, May 16th for all the programs they'd like to join in. And that's all for me today.
All right, thank you. General Manager's report.
I just wanted to recognize all the city staff that were involved, Mr. President, in Rod Run, and a lot of planning, a lot of logistics, police and fire, strong presence out there. But all the operating departments really did a fantastic job, and you ordered up a excellent weather day, and I think it was the Rod Run we've been waiting for a very long time, so well done.
And I did forget to give a few stats for that night. The cruise night had approximately between 8,000 and 10,000 attendees, and then the show on Saturday, about 50,000 people showed up throughout the day, and there were over 400 classic cars there. So very successful day. So yes. That being said, I think we'll adjourn this until the next one.
All right. And bless you. I will go ahead and call to order the Temecula Public Financing Authority meeting. Let the record show that we are all still here. Do we have any public comment?
We do not.
All right, the only item we have is on consent this evening, and that is to approve action minutes of April 26, 2022.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, please cast your votes. That passes 5-0. Do we have an executive director report this evening?
Nothing further tonight.
Anything from our board of directors?
Nope.
All right, we're going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting and reconvene the Temecula City Council meeting. We have 2 items under business this evening. Item number 11, approve Fourth Amendment to City Manager Aaron Adams' employment agreement. Can we get a report, please, Mr. Thorson?
Yes. Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, on April 26, 2022, the City Council completed their annual review of the performance evaluation for the city manager and directed me to prepare an amendment to his agreement. The proposed amendment provides for 2 changes in his agreement. First is that his annual base salary will increase to $274,206, retroactive to July 1, 2021. And then second, there is an annual salary adjustment that occurs each year on July 1. Currently, that is a cost of living adjustment not to exceed 3%, but the change is that the annual salary adjustment will be the higher of the cost of living adjustment not to exceed 3%, or a compaction adjustment necessary to keep the annual base salary of the city manager 10% higher than the top step of the base salary range of the next highest paid classification. As I indicated, the cost of living increase, the COLA, has been in place for some time, and it's based on the annual Consumer Price Index for urban and clerical workers in the Riverside, San Bernardino, Ontario area, and that occurs for the past 2 years, and that can't be more than 3% per year. The second component is the compaction adjustment, and that is based on the fact that the city manager shall be the highest paid employee of the city per the agreement, and the annual base salary shall never be less than 10% higher than the top step of the base salary of the next highest paid classification. And this is to prevent compaction of the salaries of the staff with the city manager. On this second point, if the council on a July 1 finds that that is the higher of the 2 options, the council would adopt that change at a duly noticed public meeting and include it on all publicly available pay schedule. This is a requirement of state law. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have, and then the appropriate action is to approve the Fourth Amendment to the city manager's employment agreement.
All right, any questions of Mr. Thorson? Seeing none, any questions or comments otherwise?
Nope.
All right, I'm looking for a motion.
Move approval.
Motion by Ms. Edwards.
Second.
Second by Mr. Schwank. Please cast your votes. All right, and that also passes 5-0. Moving on to item number 12, approve creation of Regional Cancer Task Force, appoint City Council Ad Hoc Subcommittee, provide general direction of the same at my request. Ms. Lowry, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor Ron and City Council. I'm Betsy Lowry, Assistant to the City Manager. From 2016 to 2019, the city led a regional cancer task force with Council Member Marianne Edwards and former Council Mike Nagar. During the 3-year period, the task force completed an epidemiology study of cancer in the region and a comprehensive cancer care needs assessment. The first one ever in Riverside County. These studies remain true today, and ultimately our region is in need of more specialty cancer care, treatment options, oncologists, patient navigators, and even primary care facility doctors, because they are the first line of defense. Throughout the process of the previous task force, they created significant momentum to bring cancer services to our region. City of Hope opened radiology here in Temecula. Temecula Valley Hospital began a residency program intended to attract needed physicians. Michelle's Place, as Council Member Marianne Edwards just mentioned earlier. They expanded their cancer services beyond breast cancer. Loma Linda earned national accreditation as a quality accredited cancer program by American College of Surgeons. The task force developed a regional cancer resource guide and professionally filmed a video to specifically attract healthcare professionals. These and more accomplishments were brought to fruition through the task force, which ended its work in 2019. And then came COVID in 2020. So understandably, the focus and the momentum of cancer, the momentum that was generated was not top priority in healthcare throughout the pandemic. And all the while, our valley continues to grow. Residents faced with cancer are oftentimes faced with driving several hours to Orange County, San Diego, and LA. This remains the impetus to bring back another task force and appoint a city council ad hoc subcommittee at the request of Mayor Ron. This concludes my staff report.
All right. Any questions of Ms. Lowry? All right. Well, if you don't mind, I'll just take the privilege of starting this one off since it was a request. If you note, the last time we had the update on the Cancer Task Force that was ultimately disbanded was in March of 2019. And there were some remarkable achievements, including great collaborations, some received funding, a number of our hospitals taking on that responsibility, working professionals, taking on, oncology and other services within our region.
Yeah.
Our hospital at Temecula Valley investing, hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment. And then a year later, the world changed on us. And as a result, we've all seen the changes that have happened within our healthcare industry generally. Part of the challenge in the last 2 years, of course, is that a lot of folks, out of fear or other reasons, avoided going to the hospital and having themselves checked for different screenings, including cancer. And as the community is returning back to normal here, we've realized that a lot of those resources that were established by the end of, early part of 2019 no longer exist in their same form or function. What we, thought we had accomplished, I think is still, the foundations are still there.
Yeah.
So I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel. But regionally at least, and I don't think we need to expand this to a whole Riverside County initiative again. I'm more concerned about, sort of local serving and, our direct region. So I met with Councilmember Lori Stone, we had a great meeting with our local service providers, doctors, and other organizations. But it was clear at the end of the meeting that we still had a lot of work to do in this area. And so I'm asking to bring this back, appoint 2 council members to this program and really see it through to help. The city doesn't provide cancer services, obviously, right? But we have been great shepherds in bringing this process along and helping to create the nexus that we need within our community for this. And so that's really what I'm looking for as far as, the provide general direction, that's really what we need to do is sort of bring this task force back together, partner very closely with the city of Murrieta and perhaps even Wildomar, and maybe even Menifee. I don't want to go too far out of scope, but, bring in those sort of southwest local cities and our county partners to make sure we're fulfilling our needs. Bottom line is too many folks are traveling to get the services they do need, and the services that we do have here today are not offered, every day of the week, complicating it even more. So that's basically the impetus behind this, and so I'm happy to hear what your thoughts are.
I have a comment, Mr. Mayor. I think one thing that we realized with the other cancer task force was that doctors are reluctant to move here. We don't actually know why. I mean, it's a smaller area. We don't have a research center. We do now have, we have great hospital facilities. We've got a university with a medical school. But one thing I would like to see us do is to develop an actual attraction and retention program where we make materials or we contact doctors who are already successful in practices, or we work closely with UC Riverside to attract other physicians from their program. And also, we have a great pool now with the doctors serving residence programs at Temecula Valley Hospital. So I think we need to work closely with them in order to take advantage of the 80 or so doctors that are here in town. So if we could, I would like to continue to serve on this just because I have the history of the last meeting. And another thing I'd like to do too is to look into the attraction of the Cancer Research Center or Cancer Treatment Centers. There are only 5 or 6 in the country. And it's a last resort. It's the final step when people have done everything they can with their regular doctor, oncologist, hospital, and other facilities. Cancer treatment centers will step in and use experimental drugs. I mean, they go the distance and do everything they can, genetic testing and all that. So that's another thing that I'd like to see. The Cancer Task Force approach is how can we attract a cancer treatment center to Temecula?
All right, anyone else? Mr. Schwenk.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm certainly supportive of this. I don't think there's a person in the city, probably the county, that isn't impacted in some way, their family by cancer. My aunt, my mother-in-law, my dad just passed away from cancer a couple of years ago. So we all have those stories, everyone I know in this room. And again, the city is certainly impacted. So everything, anything we can do to attract. I think Councilmember Edwards brings up a good point about attracting folks here. In thinking about this item and thinking about, the why service providers and doctors maybe don't move here, there's tons of reasons, obviously. But I started thinking about the DEI perspective and being a welcoming community and what that means. And if you look at the demographics of doctors and up-and-coming doctors, it's evolving, it's changing. And I think that's an important component to look at when we're looking at attracting doctors to come live in our city. And I certainly would support Councilmember Edwards, and I'm assuming Mayor Ron, you'd want to serve on that as well as a subcommittee, but certainly want to provide that little bit of direction that we definitely look at it from that perspective of how can we message and actually be that welcoming community for those doctors that are graduating from the UCLA medical schools and those opportunities to come here and serve our community and our residents, and then ultimately live here, move here. So that's it. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else? Yes, Ms. Alexander.
Well, I just want to say first that I am definitely supportive of this Cancer Task Force. Just recently, as this has been brought up, I've been able to learn more about it, have an understanding of what it is and the importance of what it's going to do for our community. Over the last 2 years, we've seen the medical care just not being able to be there, and it's not anybody's fault directly, it's just what it is. And so a lot of people were not able to receive the care and go in, if let's say they were at a low stage of cancer, and then several months later, because they didn't get treated, it was worse. And we're seeing that, and so we did end up seeing more deaths over the last 2 years, which is really heartbreaking. But my heart goes out to these families, and there's something that we absolutely need to do here in the city. And I'm really proud to say that I'm really excited that we're going to be bringing up this task force as a community for the community by the city. So I'm excited about it. So thank you.
All right. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody's willingness to let this thing organically kind of move forward. I think it's an important piece of the fabric of what our community needs right now. Let's see. We need to make a motion and a second to approve the creation of the task force, adopt a subcommittee, and provide general direction, which we've kind of already done. So I'm looking for a motion.
I'll go ahead and move the creation of the Regional Cancer Task Force and appoint Mayor Ron and Councilmember Edwards to that ad hoc subcommittee.
Second.
All right, please cast your votes. right, thank you so much for that. Okay, and then our next item is items for future city council agendas. And Mr. Stewart, your request, discussion on development of aquatic center. You have 3 minutes, go.
All right. So basically, I'm kind of following your lead on the whole orchestra thing, because it's kind of like the same thing, that there are people in our community that value certain things and feel it's going to add a new dimension, an incompleted dimension to our city. And so just like the orchestra, I think something like this deserves a little deeper dive to kind of just, bounce ideas off of the community who wants it, maybe public-private partnerships, things of that nature that I think, because I've heard about this 50-meter pool for 20 years. And so it's kind of like I want to either get it to a point where we can put it to bed or we can build it, one of the two. I don't want to kind of draw people out any farther and longer than we absolutely possibly have to. So I think if we as a council, kind of put our brain trust together and try to figure out how this could happen, and if it can, great, I would love to build it. But if it can't, I would also like to give the reasons why. So that's why I think a deeper dive is necessary, just to put that out into the cosmos and figure out exactly what and when and how.
All right, so we don't have any substantive discussion on this, but I'm looking to see if we would like to have this as a future business item for conversation.
I'm okay.
A second.
Definitely worth a deeper dive.
Okay, I agree. I need a motion and a second officially.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, please cast your votes.
Deeper dive. Pardon the pun.
Deeper dive. Oh, and that's passes 5-0. All right, thank you. We look forward to having that conversation here. Thank you, Stu. City manager report.
Mr. Mayor, because you are a morning person, I wanted to remind you that you have a very large presentation this Thursday morning at 7 a.m. to 800 of your closest friends. So I want to invite everyone out to the Mayor's State of the City address, Pechanga. Tickets are still available, doors open, 7 a.m. It's going to be an incredible show. Come out and listen to Mayor Ron talk about all the good things that have happened and all the good things that we have to look forward to. So that was my plug.
All right.
Anything you want to add to that?
Oh, gonna have to live up to the hype. All right, I will start practicing now. Sounds good. Thank you, sir. Mr. City Attorney, good evening.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and members of the council, we did have a closed session tonight, and but we don't have any items to report from, or actions to report from that closed session.
Wonderful news. Well, let's go ahead and adjourn the meeting to Tuesday, May 24th. Thank you so much.